Fine, doctor. How are you?
We lost your voice, doctor.
Great. So today, as every year, we have a special guest. And today we have two entrepreneurs from Barcelona, Spain, that have a company in Sharjah Science Park. And I sent two videos already on Slack to prepare. So they do very interesting stuff. And so they will present their company. They have as investors some Sharjah famous people, and they just base here and they employ like 35 people. Yes, okay. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Marc Micha, to come here, and his wife, who is also working in the company, and they will introduce to you. Can you see them? They say hi. And Elizabeth, who's the chief data officer, right? So you can sit here.
Okay, awesome.
So I will let them introduce their company to them, and so we use Slack as a communication tool. So what we usually do here is I share the screen here with them, and so. Okay, so before we start, anybody likes horses here? This is the chat. Where's the chat? Who has been on a horse? So you can make a poll here. Okay, who's been on a horse? Who's been? Is it no? They're shy. They're very shy. Okay, no problem. No problem. Who wants to be on a horse? Okay, so today's your chance to be on a horse without being on a horse, and you will understand this very quickly. So I'm gonna give the microphone to them. Yeah, and yeah, the floor is yours. And I already shared these videos. Did you guys watch the videos? So share one of these videos. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. So Marc will introduce himself first, a small bio, right?
Sure.
And Eli as well. It's a fascinating journey of human-computer interaction from a psychology angle, which is amazing. And these guys are going to be rich very, very soon, and they will be hiring lots of people. So just say.
Inshallah.
Okay, excellent. So please, Marc. Yes.
Okay. So first of all, nice to meet and all of you. It's an absolutely pleasure, and for us, it's always just amazing to have the opportunity of. They are saying no screen.
Yeah. What?
They're saying no screen.
No screen. Yeah, we haven't shared anything yet. But do you see the video? Yes, right? Share application screen. Hold on. You don't. What do you mean, Shadi? I don't understand. We're sharing the screen, yeah? There's no slides yet. Don't worry.
Okay. So it's always a pleasure. So just getting in connection between the entrepreneurial, the R&D, and the academic world. So because you are the future, and always it's amazing to have that connection. So as Jose introduced, my name is Marc Herrero. I'm the co-founder and CEO of this new venture we are creating. That it's for so long we have been doing this trip. So everything started 7 years, almost 8 years back, designing experiences for hospitality and top luxury high-end. Then we realized about, okay, so it is great, but how we can make it a little bit more scientific. So we decided together with my wife and co-founder Eli to create a scientific method, experiential as well, but in that case only focused with horses and depth psychology that then we will explain. And then we realized, okay, so this is great. We are having clients on therapy, but what we can do more, no? So how we can, more than getting rich, which is great for paying salaries and for being bigger. The most important thing at the end is to have the opportunity to become a big company, having a lot of more opportunities, no? And in this process of scaling, we said, okay, so why not? Let's take advantage of the technology using machine learning in that case. And with machine learning, we created this R&D in Sargent Research Technology and Innovation Park, where we are developing algorithms on emotional data analysis. So basically what we are doing is all that we learn doing the program and creating experiences for people, we are moving this into an algorithm. So doing this process. I have an executive MBA. I studied hospitality. I have been managing different kinds of company on consultancy in strategic and marketing, and then now it's time of having everything in a box.
So my name is Elizabeth Calomarde. I'm the psychologist and also the chief data officer of our company that it's called AU Community. My background is on human resources. I manage almost 400 people in Spain, where we are from, and we lived all this, let's say, this life for start our purpose together, and we start to create our own method based on deep psychology, and that it's a let's say a type of psychology that it's not very work for the therapist. And well, we create a program that that allows the person to develop themselves more than, it's not clinical psychology, it's more related with development. So and then, as Marc said, we realized that we want to put all this knowledge to a tool that allow us to reach more people on the world, and then we start with the technology side. We create a neural network capable to analyze the emotions like a human can do, and all of this neural network we can apply in all of the applications that, of course, there are humans.
I have a question, and you guys can ask questions. So you mean you made a neural network that can know if I am happy or sad, or
more than that?
Which emotions can you detect?
It's not only about emotions. Emotions are a cultural thing. So emotions, in fact, it's not let's say it's not correct to label an emotion. It's not correct to say I am sad, because for me it's a thing and for you could be another type of feelings.
Sadness exists, but the interpretation of sadness is different according to the person.
You mean that when other people say they're sad, they're not sad, they're happy? Is that what you mean?
No. They are feeling sadness according to their definition of sadness. But scientifically, the brain is generating sadness. It's a little bit confusing, but the way it's very clear in a way that if you see a color, okay, we can agree that a color is white or black because we agreed on having that label, no? But if I turn off the light, you are not seeing anything, which means it's okay. The white one is there, but you cannot see it, no? So that's why many things that it's actually happening. So you have that in reality, but the cultural thing, the cultural agreement we have as a humans made that putting the names and the
Wait
labels.
a second. So you mean in Syria, for example, the definition of sadness it's different from Japan?
Could be different.
When they say I'm sad, but they're feeling a bit different. That's interesting.
Yes.
What about the facial expressions? I know there's this company called Affectiva, and they use facial expressions to classify the feelings of people using the FACS, which I know. So what's the problem with that when we do that?
Well, they are using that kind of research on the 500 points of facial recognition, which is a scientific fact. But they did something which is great, amazing, creating CNN, as all of you know, in a way of detecting that at least something is happening in the face of someone, okay? But then what happened? They are putting these classifications, but it's not universal. So that's why maybe now they are driving their business into a different direction.
You mean that it depends on the country?
It depends on the culture.
And also your past experiences too. Not only about the culture.
So I know these guys in Sparta, that they're very tough.
Yes, very tough, and sometimes they are enjoying to be tough and struggling the life.
So we don't know how to classify them, right?
Yeah, no, and from sometimes from a clinical perspective, for example, no, of course this is a disease, a psychological disease, but for a masochist or someone who enjoy making pain or creating pain into another one, for their it is pleasure, actually. It is not painful, okay? So that's why sometimes when we are labeling something, the fact here is about the culture. So, and what we are doing is basically diving in depth to having clarity and having that definition very clear about for you what sadness means.
So Affectiva uses the webcam and the face to try to detect the emotion. Well, what do you guys use?
Well, in our case, the emotions, it's something that we can realize, or we can detect, or we can predict based on what we are learning from the person. The devices that normally we implement, it's much more connected to what the brain generates as the autonomous system or inside of the parasympathetic system that you cannot control from a self-aware, which is the heart rate, which is the routine, which is the sweating, which is the neuroactivity, no?
Okay, so what happens in the eyes when you have emotions? Like, is it something that you say we cannot control? That doesn't work?
I don't know the name in English, the iris.
The iris?
The iris. This is something that we can control.
We cannot.
We cannot. And also the heart rate.
So when it's small, what happens? What does it mean?
It's depend of the person. We always need to grasp, let's say, a basal state of the person for all these variables. So it's not it's like the same with emotions. If you have the heart rate, let's say 100, it doesn't mean that you are nervous because maybe your heart rate normally it's 100.
Yeah.
So the same with the iris and the same with the salary.
We faced we have very funny anecdotes about this. So doing our prototype with the digital horse, because we have a virtual horse in virtual reality that reacts according to the heart rate.
Wait. So you have created an application where it's a VR application, and you can interact with a horse.
Yes.
This is for therapy.
Well, this is a prototype from
Show you the technology.
exactly to show. Okay, so we created a blueprint, an algorithm. Based on that, you can see the reaction.
And the reason you chose a horse is because horses are probably very perceptive.
Because our method is based, well, we start with horses because the horse is a very sensitive animal, and
you have horses.
And we have
Spain.
horses.
Yes.
So let's start by the beginning. You had a ranch in Spain with 3 horses that
Right.
you used to ride, but not like people ride them here,
No.
but with like the Indians.
Yes,
used to ride
like the Indians.
Without any tools, right? Just
Yes.
with the mounting chair and no reins.
No reins and not without the bite.
Without the bike.
Yes.
And from there, you decided that, or you realized that, wow, horses are amazing for.
we realized that you can ride and you can stop the horse without push them.
So with how? With the mind?
Well, your mind is the first step, but with the energy you project. So if you are not conscious that you are projecting nerves, let's say, the horse start to run.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. And so if you want the horse, you're riding the horse, and you want the horse to stop, and you don't have the reins to stop it. Well, how do you tell the horse stop? Because he doesn't speak English, right?
Right. They speak, let's say, the energy language.
Yes,
So-
which is the
So you say you
the
could
global.
stop the horse without the reins?
And without saying anything.
Yes, and something much more impressive.
If you don't think this is amazing, you have no blood in your veins. Do you have any questions? Okay, so from there you realize, wow, there's a lot of potential here for.
And because horses are reacting depends of the person who have in front of. So this is very, for us, this
You would say like horses are an emotional mirror.
like
Wow,
yes.
I mean,
Psychological mirror. So art is the best therapist.
because
Yeah, because it's not only about emotions. There are a lot of another psychological things like inhibition, maybe, or the
Inhibition.
feeling of guilt,
Right.
or the feel of inferiority. This is not emotion. This is feelings,
and the horse can detect that and feel it.
right?
Why is that the horses are so good at that?
Because they are social animals, and also they have a lot of predators. So they need to analyze constantly the intention of the let's say the human or another animal,
Wolf, the lion.
Yes.
for example, and predict if this animal or this human want to hurt them for
And from that, which was like 5 years ago, 10 years ago in Spain,
5 years ago.
you had 3 horses, and then you had the idea of let's this is big, but horses are expensive, but horses.
well, no, in fact not. Our horses are all how do you say?
Actually, the team we have it's even more expensive. So
The startup is more expensive.
the startup is more expensive.
How do you say that?
No, because so the important thing here is all the things we so the whole progression, no, and the process of self-awareness we did for reach
also-
that position.
Right, and also it's not only about the sensitivity of the horse. It's because we need to create interactions, experiential interactions, if you want to learn something.
Mhm.
It's like when you want to drive a car. You never learn to drive if you only do the theoretical exam.
Exam.
You need to do-
reading a book. You don't learn
Exactly.
to write. reading a book.
Exactly.
Mm.
The only way that the brain can learn something is experimenting, doing that.
Doing.
Yeah, by doing.
Excellent. And from this horse experience that you realized, then you jump into let's put the horse inside a neural network, the horse perceptive system inside a neural network. How do you do that?
Well, we are recreating basically all the systems that the horse can grasp, no? But of course, we are just having the intensity, your intensity. So how we can grasp and identify your intensity. So through the heart rate, through the frequency of your voice, through the tone. So that there are many things that you can control, but sometimes if you are living something new, it's like oof, you are just splitting and saying, okay, so I'm not sure what I'm doing, no, and I'm saying splitting because it's like you are those two personalities, no, your ego and your actual person.
I have to say, Marc is a psychology PhD.
No.
He studied psychology.
So Eli is the psychologist.
If you don't understand something he said, you can ask about ego and split personality.
Yes.
Excellent. And so you put this into a neural network, like the amazing sensibility of the horse to perceive how humans are feeling. You put that into a neural network, and then it's a product.
Well, in fact, there have two parts. Let's say one the part is the horse, the sensitivity of horse, but the other part has our brain, because you need like a digital therapist.
I mean, how we did that.
Right, a digital therapist to analyze all of this data.
So you program a digital therapist inside the system,
yes,
to kind of diagnose the feeling of the human.
Diagnosed, and it's not only the feel. So feeling is one of the. So we are grasping the motivation, which is the simulation, the image you have in your mind, even if you are not aware of that. So always you are having recreation or simulations in your mind, which is the neurocognitive fact.
How the person is processing information.
Yes. Second is the perceptions about how you perceive the world externally and internally, which generates the sensations. Then you have the strategy, how rationally you are trying to find the fastest way, which from a physics perspective, you can call that reducing the entropy principle. The emotions, so finally, I need to react. So I need fuel. And finally, the amplified perception or the intuition. Okay, so all the things that you learn in your life, it's acting like
triggers.
Yes, triggers and also like a Pepito Grillo. It's that classical whispering you that these sensations I don't like. No?
We call that intuition. Yeah.
Yes. So from here, it's how your brain processes the information. So this is the first layer of analysis. The second one is, okay, so all the things behind, the back end. So you have the front end, and now you have the back end, which is the databases, actually. Okay, so all your memories, all your connections, everything that happened in your life that automatically generates something, generate a response. Okay, and here is how we can detect the pattern and the trigger. And from here, we can start adapting the experience of learning, the experience of leisure, the experience of anything.
So you're selling an emotional AI, basically, that other companies can plug into their applications, iPhone apps, to make the experience better.
We create the experiences, or we give the APIs to connect through our systems. Now, for example, in this month we are launching the first chatbot over voice, capable of having a natural conversation, emotional driven.
There are a lot of chatbots already in the market. So
correct.
What's different in this chatbot?
Well, the difference in this chatbot is that chatbot is capable of understanding according to what you are saying or how you are saying that.
So let's say I had a flooding in my house, which is true, and I'm very upset, and I call Diwa and say, I have a flooding in my house. And the Diwa guy answers and says, is it urgent? And says, yes, it's urgent. Just here. Is that so the chatbot would understand it?
Exactly. And not also this, but for example, some applications that we are designing for a bank is to designing the front end of assistants in a way that chatbot recognize the emotion and the state of the person and filter it.
Is it filter it in which sense?
To the right assistant.
Isn't it that anybody who calls to the call center is already angry?
Normally. But there are many ways of expressing the
there are
angry.
many profiles for manage them.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. No one normally calls for congratulate or something.
We have a student here. How fun! Your team is programming chatbots, isn't it? That could be a very interesting addition to the chat. Okay.
Which technology are you using for the chatbot, or which kind of algorithm?
Well, it's a small MVP for the class, and so they decided to all the call centers of the Tisala to put them in one application because people don't like to have all the and so that was a prototype they did.
Nice.
Excellent. So that would be an example where you could use the emotional AI if it was cheap enough to be competitive. Right. Excellent. Very good. So can we see some videos maybe, or maybe you could show us your MVP?
Well, yes, we can see the video of the horse, and even one experience that is using in that case NLP, neural language processing. I can share with you the.
Okay, good. Because we have, let's see. Okay, guys, do you have any questions? It's very super interesting. Yeah, right. So now we're gonna see some. Yes. Yes, Halfan.
This is Shadi.
Shadi. Yes, Shadi.
Yeah, as I heard, this is a nice idea. Especially there are many stubbles here in the UAE, but I want to know how we can apply this one and spread it out over the UAE. Especially there are many activities here in the UAE in horses. So what is the main goal of this application? And when can I know what is the case of the horses, if it is in good mode or in nervous, or especially we need know the mode of horses in each time, especially when he's sharing in the competitions or before carrying them by the carrier to the field or to the competitions. So because sometimes the trainers or the drivers they surprise by the nervous of the horses, so because maybe he cannot understand it well, or understanding the its mode. So yeah.
Well, in fact, our purpose is to improve the awareness of the people. So never it's about the horse. Horse could have some I don't know, some triggers, but horse is an animal, so they are, let's say, let me to say, they are more simple than us, because they are only have the amygdala, that it's the part of the brain that process all the emotional data, but they don't have the part of the brain that could think rationally like us. So never it's a problem of the horse. Always it's the aware of how the person are projecting their sensation and their feelings. So I know that to talk about horses could generate many conflicts, or many it could be unclear, but the horse for us, it's only a tool. It's not, we are not focused on horses. We are focused on people.
On people.
And
here
and also with that we can help horses, because when it's like, I don't know if you can see the I don't know in English, the whisper of the dogs, Cesar Millán of United States. Okay, then he always teach something to the person, not to the dog, in fact, but he can't help
the behavior
dogs.
of the dogs.
Exactly.
You guys
reflection.
No, Cesar Millán is a famous dog trainer in the States.
Yeah, and even a famous film for horse whispering as well.
Okay. Okay, so we are going to watch a video.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, our pleasure, Shadi.
And I think there are
More questions?
no.
Go on. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, so now
We know that it's complicated to understand what we are doing, but to understand the human, it's very complicated, as you, of sure you know.
well, nobody understands humans yet, isn't it? As we have seen.
You have just discovered that the brain.
Hold on a second. And now we have to do this complicated stuff where we will share audio from here. Awesome. Okay. So
We can build the
while
future we want,
we
to
watch,
dream
one of
or
you
perceive
can
according
hold
to our
them,
purposes.
And the microphone is
Although
here.
this ability can also
You can see
cause
what
our
the
brain
video
to
say,
interpret or perceive
that video right
dangers
here.
and react
And
accordingly,
you can see
usually
what the video
through a
say.
known anxiety.
Okay, so
Increasing
this
your
will be the
awareness to
MVP,
reduce the
isn't it?
distance.
Yes, it is one of the MVPs. So we have multiple MVPs at this moment happening, but this one is it's our favorite one, to be honest, because probably it was the first, and it took almost 1 year in the beginning, just asking for favors to Unreal experts of helping us on designing the blueprints and everything, and on the 3D design as well. So it is important for us. But the thing here, what we are seeing is basically it's an example, okay? So about how the algorithm works. Of course, the best thing is experiencing this. But here on the BPMs, okay? So here.
We can.
Sorry.
In many cases,
here
what is
you
real?
will see that
Thanks
we
to
have
this
the
ability of-
BPMs there, okay? And the BPMs, it's the heart rate, okay? So
Beats per minute.
beats per minute, correct.
This is the beats per minute of the person
Of
wearing
the person who is doing the
VR.
the
React
VR.
accordingly,
This is
usually
VR,
through a known anxiety.
Exactly.
Increasing your
And
awareness
the
to reduce
therapy
the
is
distance between
explaining,
what our
no?
senses
It's a digital
perceive of the
therapist.
world and what our mind interprets is the basis of our methodology.
So we are
Let
explaining
me
many
introduce
things.
you to Carl,
So that,
a horse prepared to react as any family member would.
as you can see, the
He will
movement
be in
of the
charge of
head,
showing you your
because it's
level of
moving the
consciousness.
VR.
We can call him to come when we start. Carl, come here. Come here, beautiful.
Maybe we can put
So
the
here,
exercise because
yeah. No, here, for example, is one trigger that the person needs to focus on be relaxed. Otherwise, the horse is not coming. So this is an example. And according to that, different words or different suggestions are happening. No? Here, for example, the horse is there.
Comes from the Latin motivus, cause of movement.
So here something important is about we are mixing the explanation for helping the people to be aware of something, plus the learning by doing, no? What Elizabeth said. So here.
And another thing that I missed to say is that if you want to know about the person, you need to put them in a
It's
new
crucial that you
situation.
represent in your mind.
Otherwise, you can study the answers, you can study the actions, let's say like an interview. So that or in a therapy, if you are talking with a person, the person could say what they want to say.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way to know well about the deeper sensations or feelings about the person is to put them in a new situation.
Mm-hmm.
So for that reason, also the horses are a good scenario when we beginning, because many people never have a contact with
horse. Or normally it's not the usual thing.
Exactly.
At least in the kind of interaction with it.
Very clearly
So
what you
here
want
is
to
one of the
achieve.
exercises.
An image with great detail.
You need to make that the horse walks.
The more accurate the
just one
representation,
round.
the better.
In the same speed.
From
in the
there,
same speed.
your body will be prepared to act in this direction. Go ahead. It's your
And how do
turn.
you do that? You talk to the horse?
Yes. You talk to
Let's
the horse
go.
and you need to focus.
Remember
and
that
in
to
that
make
case, it's
things
very
change
funny.
in your
And is what I said before about many funny anecdotes we did. And normally, something that when we do these kind of interactions with our new employees, someone who is not able to align on what is expected from from the exercise always fail, because it hasn't have the capability of visualizing what they want, no? And this is the first thing. So you need to visualize what you want. If you are not able to visualize what you want, it's extremely difficult that you finally. So if you are just preparing your entrepreneurs or preparing for having a job position, you need to see yourself there. Otherwise, it's almost impossible, because you need to attract from what you are seeing. It's like it's not a law of attraction. It's about having that sense of preparing your senses to what you want to receive.
Fantastic. Questions? Any questions? So that would be an MVP of how to use this technology to make a VR application way more interesting and way more valuable for the user than just no emotional AI.
Correct.
Interesting. Do you have other MVPs that you're working on?
Yes, I already shared with you the other video we have.
Okay, I'm gonna send it to Marc.
And also depends of what the neural network are reading. The application change the environment too.
So you mean you can make the application adaptable and emotionally intelligent, is that what you think? Interesting.
Let's say
and all this is happening in Sharjah.
Yes.
Sharjah, guys, the new Silicon Valley of UAE. Okay, what is this?
So in that case, it's retail.
Welcome to the Michael Kromer Digital Experience.
They want to sell more.
This is a process for living the authentic, genuine experience about how the artisans got inspired to create the collection.
If you can listen here, the voice is a little bit different, because here we had our first members of the team, and we started implementing natural language processing. Okay, so that's why you can listen that kind of voice different from the other one. The first one was pre-record, multiple pieces of audio, and this one is not. It's working through natural language processing. And here what we want is basically designing a personalized experience where you can find your right handbag. Okay?
According your state.
Your state. And you are entering to the shop.
You in Mitchell Kromer's world. Do you like my avatar choice? Now I am in my studio, and thanks to this virtual environment, we can communicate in real time to discover the unique creation for you together. Today, you are the star, and for this reason, I'm going to deactivate my avatar to...
So you have here, so for example, you can have a conversation, and it's working through
Perfect.
Through a conversation.
Let's start because... Look at the palm of your hand and think about an energy ball.
This is very...
Let's wait and see what happens.
So here we are creating, it's about the customer experience. Okay?
Seriously,
so we are connecting here the expectations of the user plus what is happening on the VR, right? Okay, so you will see.
Not talking about magic, but only about our attitude to cause real changes. Let's try again. Close your hand tight and think about an energy ball. Did you get it? Oh, your hand. In the MC community.
So here we are playing with the brand values of the brand because they believe on the effect of the butterfly, etc., and we did it that tangible. Okay, so this is something that from marketing perspective we need to explain. Okay, so when you have luxury stuff, they are charging 300% of margin. Okay, so in reality you are purchasing something that the cost is almost 10 euros or 10 or 100 dirhams. So the thing is, okay, so me as a brand, how can I transmit that smoke of 300% value? No? And so here what we are doing basically is all of these kind of values that you are projecting to your client, we are making that tangible. And this is the experience. Okay, so we are personalizing the experience, and you can see that tangible value of this luxury stuff.
And also we are grasping data too, not in that demo, but the goal is to continue to raise data about the user, and then with all of this data we can show the best product for the person, not based on let's say on her favorite or their favorite color, based on the deep psychological profile.
Because here you are getting data, heartbeat, and
in that one, in concrete, the voice.
Right.
Frequency and tone.
Or Balkis Achebao, a Nigerian. Then open your hand to reveal the essence. As this mall has graph we had taken at the beginning of this experience,
So
and the monetization of your
we are taking one
biofeedback, we
photo.
read your state of mind and personality. Them have correlated your never divided our muses.
And finally,
I think I have the perfect product in mind.
okay, so
Doubtlessly,
here you have
this is for you.
the handbag.
Have I got it right?
So, and finally, here how we are monetizing this experience, like this. So you can choose to receive at home, gift for the avatar because it is a virtual wall, or book another experience. So that's the concept. So, and here you can see the monetization after the experience, so how we make money. So basically, this is the other MVP we have as well.
So I don't know if you have any question or do you want to know more about something?
Any questions so far? Comments, questions? There will be a bonus point for the most interesting question that you might need for the midterm exam. No? Okay. So how would you use this? Because they have two teams inside the classroom, and one of them did a chatbot, and the other did something else. How would you use this technology in your prototypes, guys? How would you use it? No? No questions? We use Slack, like you guys use Slack as well.
Yes.
So. All right, good. So no questions? No? Okay, good. Fantastic. All right, so that's it for today. Now we're going to have a 10-minute break. And yeah, I'll see you in 10 minutes. Cool, awesome. Then we'll review for the midterm. Super, 10-minute break. I'll see you at 6 o'clock exactly. Yes, it's a very interesting field because nobody has got it right yet. So that's really interesting. And how many employees do you have now?
Yes, 54. So we have many people working directly and some outsourced, but they are working entirely, almost entirely for us.
Excellent. So if you'd like to work in this, so you have the email. So and the CV. Great. Okay, so we'll be back. What time is the prayer today? Yeah. (6:30 to 6:45). Okay, good. So I'll see you back at 6, and then from 6 to 6:30 we will review for the midterm. Yeah. Okay. Good. Awesome. Okay, and we are back. Okay. Hello, testing. 6:30. Perfect. Okay, good. Okay, good. Hello. Are we back? Is everybody here? Okay, excellent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Everybody's here. Perfect. Okay, how was the talk? Interesting? Fascinating? Did you manage to watch the 2 videos before on Slack? Interesting, right? So this is a very good example of human-computer interaction. And this is what Rosalind Picard wanted to do 10 years ago with her company Affectiva. But the problem of Affectiva is that they decided to focus on the expression of the face to interpret the emotion. And the problem is that the way a Japanese expresses emotion is very different from the way a European expresses emotion, even a Scandinavian or a German. Or a South American. For example, you can have a South American completely depressed, but he will be smiling and laughing, but he's depressed. So it is very cultural, and so that's why it kind of didn't work. So well, Affectiva was using the FA face action coding system that you know, but it hasn't materialized. And these guys from Sharjah, they're using a different approach. So they realized that the horses are very good at reading people. So they said, let's try to create an AI that uses the strategies that the horse uses to understand what's going on. And it's fascinating. But they will have the same challenge as Affectiva, which is to create a compelling MVP that convinces people that, wow, this really works. Wow, this really will make my website sell more, right? So very, very interesting. But to me, it looks like this is the direction we are going, right? Like if you can have a software that really understands how you're feeling, wouldn't it be better that the software that doesn't even look at you? Or should it be better? Or will it end up like Clippy, right? The famous Clippy. So this is very interesting. Okay, good. Right, for the midterm exam, I have posted a example midterm in the Dropbox. Have you seen it? So as you asked me that you wanted an exam where you can show what you know, so in this exam, I made sample exam where you can really show me if you know the topic or not. So I'm gonna just share the screen. Do you see my screen? I will stop it and now I will share application screen. Here. What is it called? Yeah, here. This one. Yeah. Okay, so this could be an example of a midterm, right? So the first one will be explain what is Lean UX methodology, 100 to 100 words. Then compare it to design thinking by highlighting the differences and common points, advantages and disadvantages. We have seen design thinking, so that would be a good question. Then mention software tools and methods that we can use to apply Lean UX in a real software project. Again, so here methodology. The second question, which is about the second learning outcome, which is about how do you evaluate interactions. So that would be like the usability videos from LinkedIn education, right? So it's a case where you're being hired by TikTok to evaluate the usability of the app. So TikTok is interested in knowing where users stop using the app due to usability issues. So can you propose a detailed usability test to address TikTok needs, right? So you have learned how to do usability tests, how to design them, how many people, how long, how to give instructions, right? So that would be a good exercise. The other is about assessing how do you produce high usability prototypes. So this would be about fits or hits law. So for example, we have here fits law. So it tells you fits law, what is it? You are asked to, so how would you reduce, for example, the response time to half? So how much bigger D has to be so you reduce this to half, or any question like that, right? So that's just to know if you can apply fits law, right? So maybe practice a bit about logarithms and stuff like that. The fourth one is to assess if you to evaluate the usability. Again, these two are very similar. This one is to produce prototypes, and this was more to evaluate. So products. So here would be about human factors. So a car company has found that by changing the car speed meter from digital numbers to needle gauge, reduce the risk of accidents 6%. They also found that by changing the color of the display from blue to green, the risk is reduced a further 1.3%. Explain possible reasons for this. Does that make sense to you? Yeah. Is this the kind of exam you would expect for a midterm? Questions? Questions? No questions?
Sir?
Yes?
It's Sheikha. So,
yes, Sheikha.
So the midterm will be all the essay writing, not multiple choice or true or false?
Correct.
Okay.
Is that good? That's I understand that that's what you wanted. Is that correct? We can make a small poem. Yeah. Let me apologize. No, hold on. Back to polling. Pictures. How do you different you couldn't find it on the Dropbox. Okay, it is on the Dropbox. It's updated. If you go to Slack, interesting. Okay, so we'll do half. How's that? Is that good? Okay, good. Half. Good. Awesome. It's there. Yeah, it's there, Sheikha. Yeah, Sheikha, if you can, it's there. Yeah, you see it. Okay. You can also check exams from the previous years, but more or less, what we see in design thinking in UX, and human factors, usability, the aspects of human-computer interaction, psychological aspects of it. Yeah, that's all. All right, so we will stop the class here, and I will let you prepare for the midterm. If you have questions, I'll be on Slack. Also, don't forget to submit exactly the assignment. I have checked that I didn't see many submissions. Yes, the same date, yeah, which is next week. That's correct. Okay, good. So don't forget, so the midterm is only 20 points. It's not that big. The assignment is 5 points. And if you want an A, the easiest way is to get these assignments. Yeah? Other questions? Are you excited with this wave? It's written in the assignment, Safia. Yeah, have fun. That's a good compromise. The assignment is about 2 pages long. How many pages expect us to write? What do you mean, Safia? For the assignment or for the midterm? Yes, this is explaining the assignment. If you read the assignment, it clearly says 2 pages maximum.
Doctor, this is Shadi.
Shadi, how are you doing?
Alhamdulillah. Thanks. Really, you have prepared nice essay questions. So, is there possible to share it with us?
Yeah, it's in the Dropbox that you have the same Dropbox as before. So
okay.
if you go to Slack,
Okay. That's when you
so imagine I don't remember what is the Dropbox, right? Because why should we remember?
Okay.
So just put Dropbox here. You see my screen, Shadi? The Dropbox and say hello, blah 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 blah. And here is the Dropbox of the course. Yes. So here is the Dropbox. Yes. So teaching materials. This is, yeah. And you asked me to put everything for the midterm here, right? But this is an example midterm. So you can go here, navigate, and go to teaching assessment instruments. And here you have the midterm from various past years, from 2017, and this is an example for 2021 empty midterm. Sounds good? This is the quiz that you have done, and so on. Sounds good?
Thanks.
So you don't remember the link. It's not your job to remember the link, right? So just Dropbox, and you will find the link. That's beautiful Slack feature. So you don't have to all right, other questions? Other questions?
Doctor, do you own horse?
Again?
Do you own horse? Do you yani?
A horse? No. But it's very interesting that they realize that horses are so perceptive, and then they study how horses perceive, and then they realize, wow, we can put this into AI, the approach of the horse into AI, and then because you cannot put a horse into the app, right? But if you can put the intelligence of the IQ, emotional EQ of the horse into an application, wow, new possibilities, right? That's super interesting. And so that's what they're doing. And they're not technical guys, they're psychologists. So that's also very interesting. It's a very high-tech company, but everybody's here, yeah? So it's amazing. Like, wow, like just by thinking a bit out of the box, super fascinating. Yeah. My pleasure.
I have relatives is working in this field here in the UAE, Really, when I meet him particularly, he told me this is the horse is his word. Yani, when you're working with this word or field, you will feeling you are live in another planet.
And why is that, right? It's because the horse, they say it's a mirror of you because it can perceive your emotions so well, even emotions that you're not aware. And the horse can perceive it. So it's like a mirror of your emotions. And that's very interesting. You can use it for therapy, for self-growth, for self-awareness, for lots of things that that otherwise you cannot. It's fascinating. Yeah. Really interesting. And there's so many things that we don't know yet. So this field, I think, has a lot of potential. And as I told you, Rosalind Picard, 10, 20 years ago, she started all this field by herself in Boston. But she doesn't know anything about horses. But if she had known about horses, right, the field would look a bit different now. And unfortunately, she thought that the face is a mirror of what you're feeling, but as we know now, it's not a mirror. It depends on the culture and many other things, and that's the error they did. This assumption, right? Remember Marshmallow project. This assumption, and that's why this company is not working very well. Affectiva, the one, but nevertheless, the potential is there. Because once you can make a game or a video game, understand the user emotions. Ooh, what else can you do, right? The characters can understand, the virtual characters can know, they can change the script. For education, you can adapt the speed of the video, of the teaching to the kid, depending if he feels completely relaxed or he's feeling anxious because you're going too fast. All this has a lot of applications. That are not possible if you don't know what the person is feeling. So, but horses know this very well, so let's see how they do it, and that's what they did. Yeah, fascinating. All right. Okay, so we'll stop here. As I say, don't be shy to ask me questions about the midterm. Feel free to complete the midterms, share it on Slack, until you get it perfect. Yeah. Okay.
Doctor.
Yes, have fun.
I have a question about the assignment.
Yes.
So the last point in the assignment, it's discussed the last week progress in the project, but it seems like a different project than the one we're doing. So
hold on a second.
This point?
Yeah. Okay, that's a good point. So let's see the assignment here. Costa comment. Assignment here. Wait. Oops, sorry. Here we are. Is it possible that I send you an assignment of another course? That would be possible because here we have so many courses. Is this the assignment?
It's actually related to our course. It's directly related, but I mean.
Are you talking about this assignment, W9AF?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the one of the assignments. You have another one here, yeah? The usability test design. Yes? So you have two assignments left. This one is from the previous week, week 8. And this is from last class. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So you have two assignments to do. That it's 5 points each, so don't miss these points. So this assignment, I want you to design a usability test. So this is just to make sure that you remember, how to do the basics, the basic steps. Yeah. So 1 or 2 pages. So that's very easy, right?
Yeah.
So it's just what we learn in the Coursera course. This one is a bit more challenging, but that may be the most difficult assignment, or the most difficult to get an A. And this is a typical assignment in an American university, easy assignment in an American university, right? So you have to read 4 papers, but here I only ask you to read one, to pick one of these, okay? And then to write, based on what you read there, your thoughts on 4 points. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean the fourth, it's not related to the assignment. It seems like
the fourth point. This.
Yeah.
Sorry, Halfan. Can you be more specific? What do you mean? The fourth point. This one?
Yes. So it's like an update about the project.
Okay. List 2 concrete things you did this week to help your project. You have a project, don't you, Halfan?
Yeah, but I mean, when you continue, it's like it's a media lab project, something. That's what I was asking.
Okay.
So,
yeah. So okay. So don't.
It's a midterm.
Oh yeah.
So maybe we can cancel this point only. So
I
we
mean,
2 points.
So it says 1 to 4 points. So yeah. So you would apply this to. So this is the assignment from Rosalind Picard's MIT class. Yes. So I just took it from there. So yeah. So ignore this media lab assignment. So what it says here, just ignore it. So I will remove it. It's not a big deal. But okay, here, very good, Halfan. Good point. So just apply it to your chatbot, which is your project. Yeah. Is that better, Halfan?
Okay, Doctor. Yes.
Thanks. Very good feedback. I didn't see that. I just skipped my mind. Good point. Wonderful. So yeah. So this is just like 4 points that you could do. But if you come up with a more interesting point, of course, do that. Yeah. This is just to get you started. Like read this, and then you will say, yes, I could apply this to here. I could apply this test to here. Okay, makes sense. So just list 2 concrete things you did this week to help. Okay, yeah, I very good point. Bonus point for you, Halfan. 2 things that you could do. You could add your project from the readings. That's what I need to say. Does it make sense to you? So say 2 things, 2 actions that you could do to add to your product MVP project after from the readings. Yes. Does that make more sense? That's what I wanted to say. Yes. So if here you learn that computers are really bad or are really good at detecting frustration, you could say, well, we could cheaply add to this product MVP frustration detection. So when in the chat, when we detect the user is frustrated, we quickly bring a human into the call. Does that make sense? So that would be one example of one thing you could do. Have fun?
Yes, doctor.
Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
So it's just to check that what can you apply from the readings? And maybe you say, I'm sorry, I cannot use anything from these readings. It's completely useless. I say, fine, okay.
No, I'm sure there will be something. I find that the computer interaction have a lot of things that are interesting. And when you start to deal with human factor engineering, you start even change your way of of interaction with other humans, because you start to understand more how things and how cognitive stress and mental load affect their behavior, and you start to deal with it. So you know how, because you learn it in engineering way how to design the experience for them. So you apply these techniques and the experience between you and the other human.
That's really good. You're now thinking like a UX designer. That's fantastic. This class has changed you from a code engineer into empathic engineer. Great. You will make a lot of money and be very successful, which is right. Okay. Any more questions? Thank you, Halfan, for the feedback. Really good points that you have. Usability test design does not appear in the Blackboard. Is it possible that I didn't release it? It says available. Is this the one? Yeah. March. Oh, March. Oui, it's already. Did it not? Interesting. Is it not showing at all? This one is not showing. Is that what you say? So it's a group submission. So you have to submit in group, and kind of weird. Yeah. Can you not see it? So this is all. There's not much to do. It's just for your app, 1 or 2 pages. No big deal. You already have that basically. Just put it in a page and put it there. It's a group submission. Shadi, everybody has the same problem as Shadi? It's not showing. Okay, right. So make available. Subject different view. Maybe it's because the deadline has passed. Let's see. Could you try now to?
Doctor, as I think this is Shadi. As I think this assignment we already did it because we did it in a group, or we
Yes,
have to do again.
Just put it in a piece of paper and send it. I know you have it. You've done it. So just put it in a piece of paper and send it. Yeah. Okay. It's just to have a formal process of grading. Yes. That's good. So you have it, maybe just make it a bit more formal. Just send it. It's no big deal. Yeah, excellent. Okay, so any other questions? Good to catch up. All right, fantastic. I will share the contact of the talk today, so you can contact them, and if you are in Sharjah, you can go to visit them. You can see how they use Slack and how they use machine learning to code these, and how are they doing these convolutional neural networks to emotional AI, basically. Yes.
Doctor, this is private questions. As I see, are you live in Al Ain or in North Emirates?
No, why do you ask me this question?
Yeah, but because I think you live here in Al Ain, because you always mention Sharjah, Dubai, Sharjah.
There are not many startups in Al Ain, unfortunately. So the startup is in Sharjah. So Sharjah.
Okay. So smile in Sharjah.
I'm saying, if you happen to be in Sharjah and you want to visit this company, don't be shy, and you can contact them, and you can see how they work. Yeah, just wear a mask.
Okay.
So this is the.
Inshallah.
Yeah, they got funding from Sharjah, somebody in Sharjah, famous person. So that's why I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Doctor.
Cool. I mean, if you happen to be there, just go and say hello, and it's super interesting to see. I mean, there's only 2 or 3 companies in the world doing this right now, so and one of them is here. That's amazing, right? So yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Okay. Good. Any other questions? Wonderful. Okay, so we'll stop the class here. And so do practice the exam. And as I said, don't be shy to ask in the slide, is this answer perfect? And don't be shy to do the exams of the previous years, because it will really help. Practice is super important. Yeah. All right, that's all. Yeah. Have a week. great week, everybody, and I'll see you next. And not this time, yes, we will do the midterm. Okay, no postponements. Sounds good. Excellent. Finally, you are super welcome. Finally, I will share the email of Marc. Okay. If you want to say thank you to him directly, please just contact him. All right, so have a great weekend and namaste everybody. See you next week. Midterm, don't forget, lockdown browser. Midterm is gonna be like 2 hours. You will have the 3 hours, but you should be in 1 hour. You should complete the midterm if you know what you do.
Sir?
Yes, who's there?
Sheikha. So we will take the exam immediately, or we should join the class first?
Well, it doesn't matter. Like, I will open this for questions and answers and to say hello. But you can also go to the exam directly, lockdown browser, and do the exam. The exam will be divided in 4 parts. You can see it's here already, ready to go. What is it? MTCL01, MTCL2, MTCL3. Each one assessing one of the course learning outcomes. This is required because they want us to assess individually each learning outcome. I don't know why, but it's okay. We have to do it that way. So you have effectively 4 exams. That's the midterm. Okay, it's 4 small exams. That it's like all the questions are divided depending on the topic they assess. Sounds good. And so you will use lockdown browser, and I will be available, of course, because there's always problems with the lockdown browser. So make sure you have the lockdown browser installed. Otherwise, you will lose a lot of time for the midterm. Yeah, you will also need this for the you will need this for the final exam as well. It's a requirement from the university. Other questions? All right then.
Thank you, Doctor. Yes. Thank you, Doctor.
My pleasure, Shadi. I'll see you. So excited that you like the talk, and I'll see you next week. Good luck with the midterm, and ask questions on Slack. Super. You may leave the class now.